All right, let's just jump right in. We have all been there. You've got this huge project staring you down. A fence, a deck, maybe a whole garden wall, and you know the clock is ticking. You are in a race against time, and let's be real, you're usually in a race against the weather.
You know that feeling, right? You glance at the forecast on your phone, you see those clouds rolling in, and your stomach just drops. Is all this hard work you're about to do going to get washed away by some random downpour? It is the ultimate DIY pressure cooker.
But here is the really good news. You absolutely do not have to choose between getting the job done fast and getting it done right. Today, we're going to break down exactly how you can slash your project time without sacrificing that awesome, professional-looking finish you're after.
So, before we can speed things up, we gotta understand what's slowing us down in the first place. And trust me, it's not just about, watching paint dry. It's about understanding the actual science behind it. Here's the deal. It all comes down to one simple word: evaporation. For paint to dry, the liquid in it, the solvents, whether that's water or mineral spirits, has to escape into the air. Anything that gets in the way of that escape plan slows your entire project to a crawl.
And you know what? There are almost always three main culprits, the usual suspects that are responsible for a slow-drying disaster. We're going to tackle each one so you can turn them from your worst enemies into your best friends.
Okay, first up, the big one, humidity. This is the silent project killer. I want you to think of it like a completely packed subway car at rush hour. If the air is already jam-packed with moisture, there's literally no room for the solvents from your paint to hop on and leave the surface. They're just stuck.
So what's the magic number? Well, you want to be painting when the relative humidity is somewhere in that sweet spot between 40 and 70%. Seriously, if your weather app is screaming anything above 80%, just stop. Pack it in for the day. It is so much better to wait than to have to redo the entire job.
Next up, airflow. Look, moving air is your absolute best friend on paint day. It's like having your own personal shuttle service. It's constantly grabbing those evaporated solvents and just whisking them away from the surface, which makes room for even more to escape. A nice, light, steady breeze, perfect. And now, for the single biggest mistake most of us make. I call it the thick coat trap. It feels so productive to just slap on one heavy coat, doesn't it? But it's so wrong. What actually happens is the top layer skins over and it traps all the wet, gooey paint underneath. The surface might feel dry to the touch, but underneath it's a mess. And that is just a recipe for peeling and cracking down the road. I mean, the comparison here just tells the entire story. 2 or 3 thin coats will dry exponentially faster and cure into a much stronger, more durable finish than one single thick, heavy coat. It feels totally backwards, I get it, but this is the absolute key to a fast, pro-level job.
Okay, so now that we know the science, let's get into the playbook. How do we actually put this knowledge into action? We're going to talk technique and, more importantly, the right tech for the job.
Let's just be honest with ourselves for a second. Brushes and rollers, they have their place, but for a big job, like a whole fence or a deck, they are just painfully slow. It's so hard to get that perfectly thin, even coat we were just talking about, and man, it is exhausting work. This is where the cordless revolution is a total game changer. I mean, imagine it, applying those perfect thin coats in a fraction of the time, with no giant extension cord to trip over, no hunting around for an outlet. It's just pure freedom and speed.
So let's do a quick showdown of 3 of the best cordless options out there right now. You've got the pro-level Graco, the super versatile Wagner for all-around DIY stuff, and the really smart buy from Ryobi if you're already in their battery system. There's a perfect tool here for pretty much any project you can dream up.
First up, the Graco Ultra. Okay, this thing is a beast. It uses true airless technology, the same stuff the pros use, which basically blasts the paint into this super fine mist. And finer particles mean a thinner coat. And a thinner coat means, you guessed it, faster drying. For most paints, you don't even have to thin them. This thing is built for serious speed on big jobs. Next is the Wagner Flexio 3550. And I'd call this the perfect all-rounder. Its superpower is versatility because it comes with 2 different nozzles. You get one for broad surfaces like your fence, and then a second detail finish nozzle for things like trim and furniture. It's that do-it-all flexibility that makes it such a great pick for the typical DIYer with all sorts of different projects.
And finally, the Ryobi One Plus. Look, if you already own any of their tools, their drills, saws, whatever, that use that 18-volt battery, this is an absolute no-brainer. The value is just off the charts. It's lightweight, it's easy to use, and it's perfect for those weekend warrior projects like a garden shed or a side fence. All right, you've got the science down, you've picked out your tool. Before you pull that trigger, let's just run through the final mission briefing. This is your pre-paint checklist for guaranteed success.
Let's run through this fast. Humidity, is it below 70%? Check. Temperature, in that sweet spot, 50 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit? Check. You got some airflow, either a breeze or a box fan? Check. Are you committed to thin, even coats? Check. And finally, is your surface totally prepped, clean and dry? Check. If you can tick all those boxes, you are good to go.
So when you boil it all down, the secret is really a two-part punch. First, you master your environment. That's the humidity, airflow, and temperature. And second, you choose the right tool that lets you apply those perfect thin coats without even thinking about it. That's how you win the race, every time.
So the only question left is, are you ready to finally take back your weekend and stop spending all of it just staring at a wall waiting for paint to dry?
If you want to do a deeper dive on any of these techniques, or you want direct links to the exact sprayers we just talked about, you can find the whole guide over at thepaintly.com. Now go get that project done.